So we're really about providing opportunity. It's about bridging the gap between education and economic opportunity and career pathways. And that's why investing in ProStart is doubly important. It is the way we're going to ultimately set up our industry for success.
Welcome to the Prosper Brief. Today we're diving into the future of hospitality with Roshan Mendis of Lazy Dog Restaurants, John Tallichet of Specialty Restaurants Corporation, and Alycia Harshfield of the California Restaurant Foundation. Join us as they share how mentorship and community engagement are shaping the next generation of restaurant leaders.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prosper Brief. This afternoon, I'm fortunate enough to be joined by a few colleagues from California. We're here at the Forum in Amelia Island right now at the conference. We're here with Roshan Mendis from Lazy Dog, John Tallichet from Specialty Restaurants Corporation, and Alycia Harshfield from the California Restaurant Foundation. And we wanted to talk a little bit. I wanted to start off with what everybody does, your organizations. We'll start with Roshan. If you want to start us off, tell us a little bit about yourself, Lazy Dog, how you got involved in the hospitality. Any interesting, we're hearing a lot from CEOs that I'm interviewing too, their background on starting out in the back of the house, washing dishes, being a server. Any interesting backstory on how you got into the industry and why you're here?
Gotcha. First, thank you for having us, Anthony. And Roshan Mendis. I'm one of the co-founders for Lazy Dog Restaurants. And how I got into the industry was because my Spanish teacher told me I had to go get a summer job because to stay out of trouble. So showed up at a restaurant that was opening up, Mimi's Cafe in Cerritos at the time.
How old were you?
15 and a half. I think I was just about to turn 16 and applied for a host position.
Cool.
It was going to be a high school job, turned into a college job. As I was graduating college, decided that I was going to give it a chance. And shortly after college opened up, Chris, myself, Gabe Caliendo, and Steve Price, we ventured out to open up our first location in Huntington Beach, California. Awesome. We are upscale family casual dining concept. We are 51 restaurants as of a couple of days from now, and growing at about 10 to 15% a year.
That's awesome. Awesome. John, how about you?
Well, I started around the same age in the industry, but I'm a second generation restaurateur with specialty restaurants. Family business started by my father back in 1958. So it's been around for a long time. So people ask me all the time, like, why the restaurant business? You know, it's so difficult. And I say, well, this is the business I grew up in and I've thrived in. And, you know, this is what I know and what I enjoy. So it's been a big part of my life, my whole career. And so we're right now 16 restaurants. We're primarily California and Florida. We do have a restaurant in the state of New York and Ohio. So it allows me to have a perspective, probably similar to Roshan, where we're seeing not just California and what's going on there, but other states and the challenges that exist in other states. California has most, but there are other challenges. And I'm also a member of the National Restaurant Association Board, in addition to being on the California Restaurant Association, and was past chair of the California Restaurant Foundation Board.
Yeah. And that leads us to Alycia.
Yes.
Tell us about the foundation.
Okay, well, first I just want to say how lucky I am that I'm sandwiched between these three superstar leaders in the industry who really have done so much to support our foundation and the work that we do and allow us to continue to grow and to serve our industry. And that's really what we're all about. That the Restaurant Foundation is keeping people at the center of our work, whether they're teens in culinary arts programs, whether they're scholars heading off to college or completing their education, access to education, those in our industry that face a crisis through our relief funding, and small independent restaurants with resilience grants. So again, it's like back to the people at the heart of everything that we do that make our industry so fantastic and rewarding and wonderful for the communities that we're all in.
Yeah, that's great. So what brings us all together, we're all Roshan, John and I serve on the board, the California Restaurant Foundation board. That's how we've all met and involved with that. Actually, coming up in a few weeks in September, we have the Grateful Table in Del Mar. Can you tell us a little bit about that too?
Yes, this is our annual fundraiser to benefit Restaurants Care, our relief fund that's been around since 2017. We provide grants directly to food and beverage workers when they face an unforeseen crisis. And you can imagine how difficult it is when you have an ill child or a family member that is in their sort of last stages of life, or you've been in an automobile accident, received a cancer diagnosis, something like that, of how you get by financially when you're not able to work. And so our whole mission is to provide them with some hope and stability through a financial grant. And so raising money to have those grants available is what we do at the Grateful Table. It's a beautiful dinner under the stars at the Del Mar racetrack with wine pairings and chef curated, feast. And I think it's such a special evening because it's all of our industry coming together to lift up, again, people and take care of each other.
Yep. And I would say, if you're interested to buy tickets, how to read, but I think we're sold out.
We are.
So if you don't have a ticket yet,
No problem.
you're out of luck. Yeah. So
We might be able to make
That's
an
a good problem to
arrangement.
have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Next year.
Awesome. Yeah, next year. You got to start playing
But there's
September
a way to give
2025.
back all year round. I mean, this is a year-round fund, and so we accept donations. We have people that are part of our giving circle, which means they make monthly or quarterly contributions, like a recurring gift, and that's really kind of part of the bread and butter. Or actually, we have some companies that are represented here at Prosper who are our annual champions, which means they're a corporate annual partner that keep us going.
Yeah, but it's not even the monetary side of it, too. A lot of restaurants, I know specialty restaurants, and I think Lazy Dog has been involved with the students.
Oh, yes.
Some of the training for the students, getting to see the operations in the restaurants. I believe, I know, John, your organization has helped with that as well, right?
Yeah, the one thing that I'd say about that is I've never understood in our industry the great things that the foundation does in connecting with the next generation of leaders. And they're they're getting them educated at the high school level and with the ProStar competition and everything that goes into that. And then when they have their competition, you're able to have access to those students and be there and see them, brilliant kids actually cooking and coming up with businesses and stuff. And we'd love to participate because it gets us a chance to interact with them and actually learn from these students and what they're looking for, coming into our businesses. So we can be smarter about what they would like to do and where they'd like to see themselves. And more companies should really be there because they would take so much away. And I'm always surprised that more and more companies don't take advantage of that because it's something that the foundation puts together and really makes it available for everybody.
Yeah. Any comments on that, Roshan, on how you guys have been involved with like the up and coming talent in the industry?
Absolutely. Our industry is a wonderful industry. And the pathway to go from an hourly teammate to a six-figure salary without a college degree, this is the industry to be in. Not too many people know this. And I think the work that the foundation does exposes students at a high school level to see that and get interested in joining our industry. And there's a tremendous need in the industry to continue to grow talent. And the first step is the work that the organization does in supporting students and then also supporting young restaurateurs that are breaking into the industry. We were all there once. And we know the challenges that it comes with, and it's everything that we have learned, we need to be able to give back, and you afford us a platform to do so.
Yeah, no, that's great.
And Anthony, can I jump in really
Sure.
quickly, just in terms of this audience at Prosper, is the discussion around developing future leaders and having a better table. And more diversity and inclusion. The ProStart program, I would say nationwide, but in particular, I could speak to California. You don't get much more diverse than California public schools, and 75% of our students are students of color, and 48% when they go to college are first in their families. So we're really about providing opportunity. It's about bridging the gap between education and economic opportunity and career pathways. And that's why investing in ProStart is doubly important. It's inspiring. We're teaching practical skills, life skills, career skills for young people through the lens of restaurants and food. But it is the way we're going to ultimately set up our industry for success.
Yep, I agree. And going back to your point, Roshan, too, one theme that I'm hearing here, too, actually talking with the accelerators on Sunday, some content was, a kid might be telling their parents, I want to get into the hospitality industry. The parents' thought goes like, well, you're going to be a dishwasher or a server, right? And it's like, no, that's where you start in the industry. There's so many, and I've talked to so many people here on the Prosper Brief, so many different aspects that you bring to the industry. Speaking with somebody today is an investment group, over $2 billion. They have 5,000 concepts in running that, the business aspect, the legal aspect from my perspective too. It's so, so diverse with the opportunities that you can do in the industry.
As of a couple of days from now. And
it's not just running a restaurant even, it's everything else that's supporting that restaurant that comes in.
Absolutely. And from a company perspective, I think I learned just as much from being around the students and the young entrepreneurs, because that is the next generation, and how they're thinking about the business ultimately becomes the business. I think one of the things that I learned from Coca-Cola was the food truck conversation years ago came to fruition, but that was something that was presented at ProStart years ago from young high school students, right? So if you really want to understand what's going to happen next, we should get involved and talk to them and be a part of the conversation, and then help them get to where they want to get to based on the experience that we all have with all the executives that are surrounded by the Prosper Corps.
No, that's great. So John, for being involved with the foundation, the California Restaurant Foundation, why are you involved, and why do you keep coming to the meetings and supporting the foundation?
Well, seeing it from the other side of our industry, it's very difficult with all the challenges that our industry have. The state associations and the National Restaurant Association, they're constantly advocating for us, but so much of that becomes a negative conversation about things that we just have to face. The other side is what the foundation does. And the foundation does so much, from the Restaurants Care Program, having availability of money to help out those in need in our industry, to the education of future leaders, to helping businesses that are just kind of wavering. Our business is very small margin, and there's times where the challenges are just too much, and we need the small businesses. We need the individual operators out there. They're important. The big guys need the small guys. We all work together. And so all that's happening behind the scenes. They don't get enough credit for the great things that they're doing. I know Alycia's kind of like, hey, don't forget about us. We're important, and they are so important. And, it's a great story. It's a great story to tell in our industry about all the wonderful things restaurants do.
Yeah. Roshan, what brings you to the foundation as well, and coming back year after year?
It's my way of being able to give back something. I have been given a tremendous opportunity that I didn't understand that I had when I was given to me. And I think it's our duty to come back and mentor and guide the future leaders and help them attain their goals. And that's the best part about this.
Yeah.
It's totally about potential, right? It's that investment in potential as well. There's a long runway for that. And it's so incredible to have leaders come back and not only the, founders and CEOs of companies, but getting their team involved from various levels does provide that exposure that students need to kind of understand the breadth of opportunity. And it happens because of industry engagement.
Yeah.
To your point, we've created a culture within the company that, hey, you've got to reach out to your communities and figure out the needs and deliver on those needs. So as a leader, if we're not practicing what we preach, we can't expect our leaders within the communities to do the same, right?
Yeah.
Good point.
It's an inspiration, it's a guide, and it's also permission
Exactly.
to do it, to give back and to be involved.
Yep. No, great message. Alycia, what are you excited about on the foundation front? Anything on your mind right now? Were you looking into the future with future programs, the support you're receiving from the hospitality community? What's on your mind right now?
I think what's really fun about what we get to do is we get to know restaurants, and we get to know the vendors and suppliers that support restaurants. And every year, new partners come on board with our foundation, which opens more doors for us and gives us more room to continue to develop our programming. And in 2024, we had our first Experience Hospitality for, like reimagined post-COVID, where we took 500 students during 1 week to 23 different hospitality venues and restaurant corporations. And they got to hear from founders and the IT department and, every important office within, to know about the things they read about in books. They got to see it in action. So I'm really excited about bringing that program to life and seeing as how it grows for 2025. And I think what fuels us is the fact that partners return, new partners come in, and then we get to meet the people that we're serving.
Yeah.
The students and the dishwashers and servers and cooks and small business owners.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of really good going on, and I think it'll be even stronger for next year.
Yeah. Cool. I'm excited.
What I loved about this program is the students got a lot out of it, but when I saw what our executive team got out of giving back in those moments, they didn't understand what they got out of it until they did it.
Right.
Their excitement got me more excited to support things like this.
Yeah.
It's like a day out at your office, and here you've got like the 4 founders and then all the leaders of all the other departments talking about how they got their start. They have lunch together. They tour the office. I mean,
it was great.
It was great.
That's cool.
We're so busy all the time, but once you take that time to connect with the students and be part of it, you do take so much away, and you just want more. You become a sponge. I need to interact. I want to be involved. And I think that's what brings us back.
Yeah.
But I think more and more operators need to realize that we're all busy. They're busy. Got it. But this is where you need to make the time.
Yep. I agree.
It's also a professional development opportunity for team members and young leaders within your businesses to give them a chance to give back from their own, in their own industry and community. And they take such pride in being able to represent their company and brand in these experiences. And it just kind of feeds on itself.
And I thought where you were going to go with that too. And I agree with that. But part of the message with the Prosper Accelerators, it's communicating to them about the self-doubt somebody might have. Like, I can't see myself in that CEO role. And we're sharing the CEO stories here at the forum so that they understand, that CEO started as a dishwasher and worked up to be CEO of this mega corporation. You could do it too. And seeing other people, how they got there, and putting that idea in their mind, like, yes, I could do that. And I think even if it's a manager helping some students, all of a sudden these students are looking to them as a role model, and the manager starts saying, oh yeah, I am a leader, and what I've done is important, and people do look up to me, and start putting that idea in their mind, like, I can keep going on this route too. Yeah. So it's great.
I remember one of the first events I went to for FIT, where we went to a high school and we talked about the skills that were going to be needed for interviewing and just, working. And, I told everybody, hey, I'm president of this company. And they all were like, all right, I don't even know what a president does. But my sous chef from the restaurant was there. And they're like, yeah, I'm a cook. I work behind the line. And everybody's like standing up and like checking them out. And they want to interact. And because they could see that was like a step that they could relate to.
Yep. Opening that up, those doors up. And saying,
But we all worked as people behind the line and stuff. So we were that person working it's a step to being a leader.
Yep. It's so important.
You have to see it to be it, right? We say that a lot. And that's why it's really important to have all kind of levels of people in the industry involved too.
Yep.
And the decisions do come from the top. So it makes a big difference when the bosses say, let's do this, we're all in, and then others can join as well.
Yep. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Since you've been asking us, but you actually are a huge participant with the foundation. You're a past chair. What brings you, and you're involved with Prosper?
Yep.
Tell us, you get excited when you talk about it.
No, and again, the opportunities, and everybody thinks, oh, you must have had it so easy, and all this just comes. But I've got the self-doubt, just like everybody else, and actually, like hosting a podcast. How did that start? And the doubt of putting this on. But again, and somebody, Reggie Stover here I just interviewed him on the podcast earlier, and he was saying when you're presented, it was training in the Army. He was leading a battalion or whatever you call it, a group of soldiers in training, and his general got mad at him. He froze halfway through. He's supposed to get him through this area, his troops. He froze, didn't make a decision. The general got on him. What was your mistake? What was your mistake? What was your mistake? The mistake was he couldn't answer the question. The mistake was he didn't make a decision. And just making a decision, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But if you sit back and wait and think somebody else is going to do it, it's not going to happen. And really, everybody's looking for you to take action. And even if it's the wrong thing, it doesn't work out, the fact you're taking action is key. And for me, John, you mentioned it. It's so easy to get wrapped up in the day-to-day. But you sit back and get involved and start giving back, you realize how important it is just for your well-being too, to give back, and how refreshing that is. And you realize I think I'm busy, but I really have time to do this though too. And if you get caught in that day to day, it's a downward spiral, and you're not thinking about the right things, and it's going to hurt you professionally, I think, in the long term, versus out communicating with people, helping people. And it all comes back to you. And not to make it a selfish perspective or anything, but when you're in the community giving back, people see that. It's good for your brand. People are coming back, and it's just communicating and being in the hospitality industry. That's what it's all about.
By the way, we're down for that. Like, we understand that we serve an industry, and there is a benefit to the companies that are involved with us, and we love that. We want you to feel good about it. We want you to talk about it. We want you to perhaps win business because of it. Whatever it is, like those are the things that keep us going as well. And you started on the Los Angeles CRA chapter ed committee like that.
Yeah.
You were in the trenches back then.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the ROI that you talk about, we contribute, we donate to the foundation, and they always put together kind of, here's where your benefits are, and it's always 10 times that. I mean, again, having us have the conversation internally to recognize this is going on in our industry, in our backyard, and how important it is, and not be looking somebody else out there that may be a future leader in our company. We have access today with the people that you guys have already interacted with and have kind of brought up to the top and said, here's our future leaders. They're right there for you. So if you want to participate and support what the foundation does, you can do that.
Yeah. It's not a transactional experience. It has to be a mission alignment, and you have to care, but there are benefits to it that everybody receives.
And I think if you go in looking for the benefits, that's the wrong approach.
Yes.
But just like anything else, you go, you committed, see how it's going to play out. And then you start seeing how important it is. For me, I don't know, at least you guys can comment on this too, but just helping the students, seeing the students And whenever I do any kind of service, like, I don't know, mentally, like you just feel refreshed after it, and it just helps you and put things in perspective too. You're so worried about returning this phone call or this issue, but then in reality, once you step back and help somebody and see what everybody else is dealing with, you're like, this is like a non-issue, really.
Absolutely. It gives you purpose to what you're doing, right? As the young leaders, we've all been in those shoes of you're just in the business every day. You're trying to keep up. And all of a sudden you get to this point where, okay, why am I really doing this? And once you realize that, it just becomes more fulfilling to what you're doing. And it encourages everyone else to get there sooner than hopefully we did, or we're still trying to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know as a leader, I reflect back to my early days so many times in terms of what I learned. It's amazing how this is a time that really makes a difference for leaders, where they can build off it, or they could feel like, well, failure, and I'm going to go do something else. And I reflect back to my early days and the people who helped me and led me, mentored me. And so we really do have an incredible impact on that next generation. And to invest in that, I think, is going to help our industry a lot.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been doing this long enough now that we have students that we've known since they were 15 years old in high school that have gone on to college and had first jobs and worked in the industry, opened up businesses, worked for Michelin star restaurants,
Opened their own
hotels,
restaurants.
opened their own restaurants. And it is so fun to see, and that we've created a community for them to be a part of too, that's been a place of opportunity development and all of that, but then they get to come back and they give back as well. It's really a really fun
They
thing.
serve as judges during
Yes, they do. The
the
Pro Serve competition.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite things.
that is
to see.
amazing. That is amazing. Cool. To start wrapping it up, I wanted to ask you guys all, I'll start with Roshan, with the Prosper Forum. Why are you coming to the Prosper Forum when there's other conferences out there going on at the same time even? What do you get out of it, and why are you coming back?
I think the Prosper Forum has brought together the right group of individuals and having good conversations that move the industry forward. I love the interaction that we have amongst the leaders that are here. And then the second part of this is a lot of what we've been talking about with the accelerators. It is that next level of leaders. We've been talking about high school students, college students, but these are accomplished leaders in themselves that maybe need to see the potential of, I can be the CEO of the company, or a founder of a brand, right?
Yep.
So it's essentially similar work with a different group, I think. And I think the forum has done a great job with that and continue to bring the right conversations and the right leaders together.
Great. John, what are you taking out of the forum so far?
I had no idea how the discussions were going to be in a way that most conferences you go to use it a way to maybe reflect where you're at on a lot of different things. But from the people standpoint, this really gets into topics that I like to say that's been a theme is you become very uncomfortable, but you have to learn to be comfortable with that uncomfortable. Yeah. And I think that's my biggest takeaway, is to bring back things that might feel uncomfortable, but my goal is to, how do I make people feel comfortable dealing with it? Yeah. And I think they do a great job on that.
Great. And Alycia, what are you taking away from it?
Well, there are very interesting, challenging conversations for sure. And it does give you some tools to have those conversations and to think about the kind of community you want to be a part of and build. But for me, it's wonderful to see familiar faces, reconnect with people that are supporting our organization, make new friends. And the networking piece is probably very equally as important for our foundation side.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, the quality of the people that are here, and the accessibility to the executives here, and to your point too, with the accelerators that are here, able to rub shoulders with these CEOs of these major brands. And it's amazing how you can just go up and talk to these CEOs and how accessible they are here.
People are open to meet you and to have a conversation and to learn and share. So it is it's a good environment for that.
Yeah, Great. Well, thank you all for taking some time out of the conference to be on the podcast
Thank you,
here.
Anthony.
And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, great. And wish you the best rest of the conference.
Thank you, Anthony.
You as
Thank
well.
you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your support.
Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share, and stay connected for more industry-leading conversations. We'll see you next time here on the Prosper Brief.